Ray, what's going on? Ray, what's going on? We're gonna be starting the space up shortly, y'all. Black, how you doing tonight, sir? How you doing tonight? We're gonna be discussing some interesting things tonight. We're gonna be discussing an interesting topic tonight. So I'm glad to have you guys up in the space. Glad to have you guys up in the space. Ray, let me go ahead and Ray, I already sent you the go ahead and okay, you went ahead. No, let me send it back to you, Ray. Ray, I sent you the actual to co. Okay, you got it. You got the actual link to co-host and whatnot. So yeah, in case you guys haven't known, the title of the space, of course, is about Republicans and in Louisiana. They tripping. They want to go ahead and decide what's once again they want to play politics with black folks. So we're gonna have a nice discussion tonight. I hope all you guys that who may be new to the news total space, we generally go ahead and we do the space at 8 o'clock, but I've been very, very busy this week, so I may be holding a couple later spaces around 9 o'clock this week. So definitely, guys, I will be sending out the reminders and whatnot. I like to go on at 8 o'clock prime time as much as possible, but we kind of been sidetracked a little bit. So definitely, I'm glad to have you guys coming up in the space tonight. You guys go ahead and tweet out the space. We want to have a nice dialogue, nice conversation. The actual title of the actual article came from Black Enterprise. It was curated on the newstotal.com platform. It's Republicans in Louisiana want the Supreme Court to change the definition of a black person. So that's what we're going to be discussing tonight. I hope all you guys are ready to add to the conversation, listen. Anything that you can do to just go ahead and create the dialogue or whatever would definitely be greatly appreciated. So we're going to start the actual space in just a second. We're letting a few more people come in. If you guys could, please go ahead and tweet out the link. And we look forward to hearing everybody's perspective and views on tonight's actual conversation. I'm actually going to go ahead and put that up in the actual Jumbotron as well, too, so you guys can go ahead and check that article out. So just give me 1 second as I add that to the actual Jumbotron. Glad to have you guys up in the space as always. Glad for you to support newssoda.com, the largest curator of black news today in America, the largest black-owned news curation platform in America today. So I just added that to the Jumbotron. You guys get a chance, go ahead and check that out. Please go ahead and check out that link. And since as we got people coming in, I'm going to go ahead and start the actual discussion up and whatnot. And if anybody that wants to speak, you already know, just go ahead, request the mic, raise your hand, and we will be more than happy to go ahead and give you guys a mic. So let me go ahead and start this actual dialogue out. Once again, the title is Republicans in Louisiana want the Supreme Court to change the definition of a black person. A Supreme Court battle over new congressional maps created by Republicans in Louisiana is questioning who is a black voter. NPR reports the maps, which were created after the 2020 census, and the fate of the maps rests with the High Court's decision in Murrow versus Milligan, which could set a precedent for future lawsuits concerning Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Lower courts in cases in both Alabama and Louisiana determined the maps were drawn in a way that discriminated against black voters, a violation of Section 2 Voting Rights Act, giving minority groups less opportunity than other members of the electorate to participate in the political process and elect representatives of their choice. However, GOP officials in both states pushed back against the findings by questioning the definition of blackness that has been the standard in cases found on Black America's voting power. According to a 2003 Supreme Court ruling, the definition of black includes every person who identifies as black on the census form, including people who identify as black in any other race, such as white, Asian, or Latino. Republican officials in Alabama are now calling for a narrow definition of what qualifies as a black voter. That does not include people who also identify with another race. They've argued in lower court filings that limiting the definition of those who mark the black on census forms do not identify as Latino would be the most defensible. In the Louisiana case, Arden versus Robinson, Republican officials argue for the definition to only include those who check the black box or both black and white who do not identify as Latino. Alabama dropped its push to redefine blackness before appealing to the Supreme Court, but Republicans in Louisiana, including the Secretary of State Kyle Orton, have asked the High Court to weigh in on which definition should be used in the future Section 2 cases. The situation is reminiscent of other tactics Southern states have used, including Jim Crow laws and current election restriction bills to suppress black voters. If the high court rules in Louisiana favor it, it can make it nearly impossible to use Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act to challenge the district maps in the future. Redistricting experts told NPR who counts as a black vote in district maps has not been up for debate since 2003 ruling. I thought it was thought to be settled. Morgan Carlson, professor of emeritus of history and social science at California Institute of Technology, told NPR. In Louisiana, however, Republican state officials say the 2003 case heard by the Supreme Court, which deals with the Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, shouldn't apply to Section 2, and that narrow definition of who black voter is will prevent state actors from artificially inflating the minority counts of their redistricting plans. Both arguments failed in lower courts. So as of right now, once again, we have political pundits telling people exactly who is black. And we're having this whole this whole gerrymander type thing going on in every state in the South. It seems like in Florida, you had Ron DeSantis and the Republican Congress down here changing the actual voting district of a popular black congressman, I believe it's AC Al Hastings, that they're trying to go ahead and change, which will go ahead and water down his ability to actually retain, his actual district and whatnot. So between Louisiana and here they speak about Louisiana and they speak about Alabama, but this is an issue that's really taking place all throughout the Deep South right now. You're starting to see, and right here, you're starting to see actually white folks talk about questioning what's black and what's not. And I know we have a lot of delineation going on. And you have a lot of black people saying this and that, but when it comes to the actual ability to generate votes and to actually control a certain district, we're having a lot of Republicans, it seems like, that's really taking the initiative to go ahead and really go ahead and try to carve out their own little fantasy world right here in terms of controlling the black vote and undermining black people as well. And I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent, but you can see the actual nonsense and the shenanigans that's going on right now. My man DJ just came up in the house. DJ, I thought I sent you to go ahead and be a co-host, but go ahead. Bray, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
What's going on to all the family? I just want to add this in really quick. From experience, we know that they like to play both sides of the argument. So now the question, what is black? The closer we get to our reparations, trying to include themselves. They might be trying to throw themselves in there to say that they qualify as being black. So anything they do has never been to our advantage. It's only been to our detriment. Like I said, they play both sides of the argument. So let's keep that in mind. I land there.
Yeah, you make a good point there. DJ, what's going on, man? I see you got your hand up. I'm glad to have you up in the space. We started a little bit later than we normally like to. Normally like to go ahead and get this thing going at 8, but kind of had a lot of things going on. So what's up, bro?
Hey, now what's going on this side of Ray, brother Black Majority? I see you down there, man, Cushion, everybody, reparations, so you already know what it is. So, hey, California got it going on, man. AB 3121, that does set the standard right there of what is black. You will have to either be a descendant of someone that was here prior to 1870 census, or at least filing census and paperwork as far as like your taxes, application, job application, whatever type of school application, medical records, stating that you were black Negro. So, Fat Joe, when you say you black, you're going to have to show me your medical records in the last 10 years, yo. You feel me? Otherwise, you can't get no reparations. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you on that, but on this point of view right here, it seems like like I said, they're fighting for votes and stuff like that. In California, the reparation claim, you definitely want to go ahead and state that, hey, I'm a black American, this person's not a black American, this and that. But it seems like they're trying to really do their best to dilute the actual votes here in Louisiana. And it's not only Louisiana, it's Alabama as well, too. So just on that state right there, on just on that part, I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous to these people right here, like, because they don't really give a damn about you being a black Hispanic or a black American or this and that. They want to go ahead and they want to keep control of all of the actual voting areas in there. They want to extend their actual reach as well, too. In Florida, if you look at the actual congressional districts and whatnot, when you look at the actual voting territories and stuff, like, Florida is a weird state. When you look at Florida in the Panhandle, Central Florida, and South Florida, at times you've had candidates and stuff win the actual state of Florida that were Democrats, and they only took out of 67 counties, they might take 6 or 7 counties. These are huge counties in terms of size and stuff like that. You may take South Florida, you'll take Palm Beach, you'll take Dade, you'll take Broward County. Okay, these counties, these 3 counties here, and Palm Beach is West Palm Beach, of course. Dade County is Miami, Broward County is Fort Lauderdale, in those areas. So you may be talking about 5-6 million people just in those areas like that. And the rest of the state, or the vast majority of the state, you'll have Jacksonville, you have Leon County, a few other states. You may have 7-8 states out of damn 67 that go Republican, and 7-8 go Democrat. But you may occasionally have a Democrat win or whatnot. But they're trying to go ahead, and they're trying to, as much as they can here in Florida, to go ahead and take all of it. They're trying to go ahead and spread the actual reach further and further than it's ever been before. DJ, I know you got your hand up.
Yeah, I understand 100% what you're saying. So again, in California, AB 3121, look it up. So basically, that means that everyone is going to have to start rolling whatever demographic of people or culture you come from, because that's basically what it is, to say, hey, look, Negroes is over here. We're asking for reparations. Obviously reparations is a 2-check system, the state and the federal one. But obviously, we're going individually as far as personally our federal state checks. The federal will come when we get our shit together a little bit more, and then like Brother Black right here say, take us state power or whatever. But it's already happening, the de-aggregation, bro. So unfortunately, like I said, it's a state thing. So you're gonna have to start getting together with other folks, just like NASD and all the folks out there in LA, the reparations perspective, and how they did it and aggregated and did the work to pretty much to say, hey, look, we're a separate group, we're our own people, man. We're gonna have to do that per state, bro. So go ahead.
So let me ask you something, DJ. In your opinion, you believe that this is a good thing? Because I know what you're saying and whatnot, and I agree with you. I agree in the delineation and everything.
Go back to what AOC said. Well, who's black? Well, look at all the shit she done said after that. And when it comes to like reparations, and when asked, well, do you still believe in reparations for black Americans? Well, yeah, because I got a black grandma or whatever. That's from on my father's side and all this other shit. So now that they see us coming with the work and the smoke, we ain't taking shit from no Fat Joe, but Busta Rhymes. None of these people, politicians, none of our own people that are politicians, for Cory Booker, Ross Cohn Baraka, Maxine Cohn Waters. We ain't taking shit from nobody. So we really need to separate. I understand MLK dream was to integrate, have more peace and be amongst the people, all peoples rather, but that shit ain't working out, bro. So we need to separate.
And like I say, I'm in agreement with it to a certain point. I'm just looking at the actual districts that's been traditionally and historically black districts and stuff like that, and it seems like it's a concerted effort to go ahead and water them down and to have the black voting power not as strong as it once was. As much as, and like I say, I don't care what party you vote for, whether you're Democrat, you're Republican, or whatever, but if a certain district has been predominantly a black is a black district, and now you're doing everything from the legislation to go ahead, because like I say, in the House and the Senate here in Florida and stuff like that, it's controlled by it's controlled by Republicans. DeSantis is the governor. The House and Senate is controlled by Republicans and stuff like that. And you even have federal judges and stuff saying that, hey, you can't do this, man. Like this is basically borderline racist here. That the way you guys are trying to go about doing this and whatnot. So that's my issue right there. In terms of a black person identifying as a black Latino or I don't know how, and I don't even know how you could be white and say you're black at the same time or whatever, but you do have Latinos out there that are actually, black Latinos and stuff like that. So that my issue is that they're like, are you saying that you can have white people identify as Latinos, but you can't have a black person identify as a Latino? Is that what you're trying to explain to me, trying to say?
Combination of yeah and no. You know what I mean? So basically, let's start off what you said last. The definition of racist is to be about one's race. So therefore, meaning there's nothing wrong with us being in this room as all black folks and only fucking with us and buying off each other and doing all this other stuff. Same thing the J-words do and the white people do. They've been doing it for years. So, we the only ones that don't understand that part of the game. So when you say black too, okay, well, what does that mean? Black, by definition, in the way we use it in the context of Black Americans, means unknown. Because if you come from anywhere else in the world, yeah, you can say you black, but your real nationality and place of origin will be Haiti, Congolese, Nigerian, South African. Yeah, that could be black, but there's no black town, city, place in those countries of Ghana, Nigeria that you come from. You know what I mean? Black is really also a color. So, but again, in the context we use it, means unknown, and it also has a representation when it comes to mathematics. In example X or Malcolm X. Well, go ahead.
And I get what you're saying. I realize it's a difference between a Black American and a Black person from a different part of the actual a different part of the world or whatever. But here's the thing here is that a lot of these districts here in the South, especially the deep South, most of these districts are historically Black Americans. Well, the vast majority of people living there are Black Americans. So you're really impacting. And I know they want to go ahead and they want to dilute it and say, well, you can't be black. And first off, who it is, and this is another issue that we have. Who are we to let these people define what blackness is now? That's our biggest issue right there. As a people, it's time for us to actually decide and to actually say what is black and what's not black. We, for hundreds of years, have been letting white folks sit up in this country and define talk about the one drop rule and quadroon and octoroon and Negro and this and that and color and yada, 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 yada. Isn't it high time that black people go out here and say, okay, I'm going to tell you what black is, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this and make this in the law. You had Obama get rid of the word Negro. I mean, so it never saw. And these people here, they don't give a damn about delineation for you or me. These people are thinking about power. They're thinking about how can we squeeze every drop, how can we go ahead and also disenfranchise people as well too. Like, I don't have an issue, like I said, with black people as Republicans, because a lot of my views are conservative type views and stuff like that. But it's like, God damn, like you just going out of your way trying to just go ahead and just absolutely take over any and everything, man. If it ain't broke, it don't need to be fixed. There's no reason. And Louisiana and Florida, and Alabama, a lot of these states are heavily red-leaning states anyways. So how much more do you really need? How much more do you need to control? That's my issue right there. And now you're defining what blackness is and what's not black and this and that. Yet any and every group of white folks that come over here, people that's not even white in their own homeland, you go ahead and you throw them in the actual white box so you can go ahead and constantly keep power amongst you and your people. But you're afraid that black people might do this or whatever. So that's my issue with a lot of this stuff right here. I get with you on the flat blackness and this and that or whatever. But if you're looking at places like Louisiana and places like Alabama and stuff like that, I don't think you really have a heavy African and Caribbean population in there to actually even be worried about somebody putting Latino on the box or this or that or whatever. And my thing is like this right here, like there are black Latinos in the world. Like, now, if you're talking about black American or this and that or whatever, but there are actually black Latinos in the actual world. You got it, Ray.
I was just gonna add this real quick. I noticed, and I'm not shitting on the brothers. So I just want to make sure I'm being very clear on that. But on the last reparations rally, that was, I forget where it was at. I believe it was in Washington or whatever. The flyer had
DC.
Yeah, in DC. Thank you. It had that people that were descendants of slavery, and it had people that were descendants of Jim Crow. So we have to definitely watch stuff like that because I feel like that's obviously a way they try to crowbar stuff in on the slide. Like I think it's Tariq that also said, if you notice, anytime they ever do anything for us, if you really pay attention, it's really to undermine us. Because if they add black, they also add, black and Latino, black and Hispanic, black and this, black and that. It's never something that's just for us. And I land there.
I get what you're saying, Ray, but I mean, and you're from the deep South, you're from Georgia, you living here in Florida and stuff like that, but you don't kind of just for a simple fact, just see that I don't know, it's just something that doesn't sit right here. There's a lot of gerrymandering going on. There's a lot of trying to redistrict everything, and you don't see this. It only appears to me, and maybe I'm wrong. It only appears to me that this is actually going on in black districts and stuff like that. It's not going on in a white district. They're not saying, oh, okay, this district here that vote that's 90% white and that votes a certain way, this and that. Let's go ahead and redistrict that. No, it only seems to be like in the black districts that is happening, in the predominantly black districts. Now, I can't speak about the Hispanics, But here in Florida, DeSantis and a bunch of these other clowns and stuff, they're doing this stuff to the point, like I say, it only seems like it's impacting black people. And that's my issue with it right there. If you were doing this all around and you were doing the same thing to white folks that you were doing to us, okay, that would be different. I can understand, but you're not doing that. It seems like you have a hard on specifically for these black areas and stuff like that. You want to go ahead the same way that you go ahead and gentrify the areas. Now you're trying to do that politically as well too. And like I said, it doesn't matter to me if you vote Republican or Democrat or Independent or whatever. We don't need to be squeezed out of these areas like that. You got it. DJ.
Correct on everything you're saying, and you too, right? So again, what is black? What is the context of the word and the way we use it? You feel what I'm saying? Other thing is too, if you're coming from a country of origin that's not black, you feel what I'm saying? These people know this stuff. And as far as the reclassification system, they originally called us Indians when they got here, bro. And then reclassified us the Negro, and then slave, and then black, and then colored, and mulatto, and all this other shit. You feel what I'm saying? So if you want to just keep it on, what's the word I'll be looking for? I guess we talking politics here, so you just want to keep it on a like a political constitutional type rhetoric. Well, everything that's just about in the Constitution, well, not a Constitution, but that's surrounding slavery or Negro is written up in things like Field Order Number 15, 13, 14, 15. Remember, it says Negro. So therefore, meaning, I hate to get Ari up here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ari, Jason in the house. You know what I'm saying? But that shit is 100% correct. Or Freeman. You feel what I'm saying? So those are three classifications. I think Negro is just black in another language. You know what I'm saying? Or black is Negro in a whole nother language. So when you think about even the word slave, it means Slav in another language. That just means to serve. So at the end of the day, it's a play on words, bro. We could classify ourselves as aliens. They wouldn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Just cut the damn check because you know who we are and where we come from. But that's the whole other two things that's important. California leading the way. So, like Sister Angela be saying, the reparations perspective, California goes, so does the nation. And with that being said, you got to do your genealogy, and get your paperwork together. Start getting your family together. Hey, where great Uncle Juneball came from and all this other shit. You know what I mean? That stuff is important. And as our elders get older, their time is coming to join there for any of us at any given day, to be honest with you. So these type of things are starting to be more and more important, at least to black, Negro, American freedmen, because it ain't too many of us that's got family that try to hold the family down. You feel what I'm saying? Or keep the family together. That was Big Mama job, trying to make sure everybody came over for Sunday dinner and the holidays and all that other stuff. We don't do those things anymore. You feel what I'm saying? At least not up here as much in Jersey. But that's only because we economically fucked up. You feel what I'm saying? But with that being said, what's up, Black Pressure? What's up, Shepard? I said, what's up, son? What's up, Brooklyn?
Black Pressure, what's going on, bro? Go ahead and unmute your mic and go ahead and add to the conversation, because I definitely want to point up on one thing too. And Shepard, what's up to you two as well too? So I'm glad to get you guys' opinion on this right here.
I do news. Always, what's up to the Black family? Respect to the host, all the co-hosts. So I wanna add this and drop down. I wanna listen to the responses. I just want to tell all the Black family listening, this is not a new play by white people. This is an old playbook they have. So when you see, like you said earlier, news, there's something to be gained. And one of the oldest plays that white people have been doing, I would say maybe for the last 500 years, if there's anything to be gained, even if it's prestige, it doesn't even have to be about money, or if it's prestige. One of the oldest plays they do is to assume your identity. And white people have been doing this. Like I say, if you look at the advent of electronic technology, even before television and their literature, the print media, their motion picture media, these people have claimed to be the Native Americans. Like I say, you look at their motion picture, these people claim to be the ancient Egyptians. I know the conscious community had to go to war with white academia for years because these people tried to claim that they were the ancient Egyptians, and this is strictly for the prestige. These people claim to be the ancient samurai, the ninja. These people claim to be the Carthaginians. And like I said, once again, they claim to be the Native Americans. This is some of the oldest plays these white folks run. So, like I say, when you sent me that and I read that, it was on par with their playbook. So, like I said, it's something to be gained, and definitely we need to keep an eye on this. I'm definitely myself gonna take a deep dive into this, but I'll land my plane there. I definitely want to hear what the brother Shepherd has to say.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to hear what Shepard got to say about this as well too. Go ahead, Shepard. Unmute your mic.
All right. Yo, peace to the family, yo.
What's up now?
Shit crazy, yo. Damn. I don't even know where to start, man. It's like 4 different things, actually, like all rolled into one, but they're the same thing. So slavery was on the ballot this year in Louisiana, whether or not they was gonna strike indentured servitude for hard labor in the prisons off the Constitution. So we still dealing with stuff that's on the Constitution in states that is from the 1700s, 1800s, that got to do with Jim Crow, got to do with disenfranchising black people. So that's the first thing. It's 2022, and they striking slavery off the ballot in Louisiana. That's fucking crazy. Just stop and just think about that right now. When we talk about being equal or being American citizens and being Americans and the Dred Scott case and 3/5 of a man and Walter Plesser in Virginia creating the census and defining who was black and how many drops made you an Indian, and everything they have done to mix and mastermind who we are. We have never been in control of who we are. Just think about that for 1 minute. Never in the history of this country, not even civil rights, because we were asking to be given title. We were asking to be called something, from Negro to African American, from to Black American to whatever. We're asking, even right now, in many of the reparation spaces, they're talking about asking for something. So we have never been able to demand anything, and we've always been at the mercy of these devils to give us our identity. So let's keep it pushing, right? So Louisiana is a strange motherfucking place. Let's just get this out there. Rich culture, rich heritage, beautiful black people, but a strange government. So this shit is in parishes, first of all. This dude, State Representative Edmund Jordan, he's a Democrat. He was like, what the fuck is it 2022 and we still got slavery in the Constitution of our state? So he created this bill. It was HB 298. He created HB 298, and this shit passed. Every Republican voted for it except for 4 who felt like we should still be slaves, which is par for the course, right? And it passed. So they got slavery off the Constitution in Louisiana. And let me show you how this ties in, right? So boom. Then they went ahead and considered other things in the state constitution, like how much representation should black people really have. Now, I'm not talking about redefining what black is. I'm just talking about if we are 1/3 of the state of Louisiana, we should have, as black people, 1/3 of the parish's power. So there's 50, I forget, it's been a while since I worked Louisiana. It's 54, 50-something parishes in Louisiana. We should control the resources, the governance of 1/3 of those parishes, right? Whatever that number ends up being, right? But we don't. So the case went to the lower courts in Louisiana. They said, hey, y'all gerrymandering us out of our rightful share per the Constitution, per, this is very important, the Voting Rights Act of the 1960s. I know we want to demonize the old head civil rights activists, but everything that they did for us, the Republicans are currently undoing and is causing us pain now. So we got to give grace and love and respect to them old heads who got us this far, because we're seeing what it looks like to go back and walk in their shoes right now. And we don't want to do that. So much love to the ancestors, right? So right now they said, okay, we're not giving y'all no more power, Louisiana, kick rocks. So we won in the two lower courts in Louisiana to get more power in our parish. We won in the first lower court, and we won in the second lower court. They said, nah, I know y'all won, but the midterm's coming up, and we don't want to change nothing right now because we want to keep Republicans in power. So what they did, they pushed the Supreme Court to the Supreme Court. So right now, the Supreme Court said, nope, we're not giving black people no more power in Louisiana. So that shit is dead. They deaded us right there. Now that's crazy because the Supreme Court hold on to the lower court's ruling to decrease black power. So I know we don't like the Democrat fucking woman, black woman Democrat. I see everything about her, about her being on the Supreme Court. But guess what, y'all? She voted with us in Louisiana to give black people more power to vote. She didn't vote to give us more power to vote Democrats specifically because she can't. She just voted with black people so they can have more representation. So this Democrat-Republican shit, when it comes to black interests, we got to look at it for just black interests. You know I'm not a Democrat. So we took the thing to Supreme Court, and all the white people in Supreme Court, all Republicans said, fuck black people in Louisiana. Okay, fine. We know what that's about. They screwed us. We ain't getting no more power in Louisiana. All right. So then Alabama went and said, hey, let's do the same shit that fucking Louisiana did. All right, let's bet. Let's do that. So Alabama, Supreme Court permits Alabama, a congressional map, to fucking lower black people's power in Alabama. The same shit Louisiana did. They did it back to back to back. So then, not only that, they reinstated Alabama's discriminatory map. They reinstated Louisiana's discriminatory map, right? So boom. Then the fucking the Supreme Court says, all right, y'all ain't getting no more no more redrawn districts. Y'all just gonna have to thug it out with being disenfranchised. And it was a 5-4 vote in Alabama for the congressional map, right? 5-4. So that's how we can actually go back in slavery by 5-4. Like literally black people hanging on a thread in the Supreme Court, because Republicans have figured out if they can't win the popular vote and they can't make no more babies faster than us, and they can't win the presidency every time, they'll just win the state legislatures and they'll just win the fucking state houses, and they'll legislate through the judiciary. So that's through the courts, y'all. They'll just say fuck everything, and we'll just win in the courts. So even when black people are right in 2022, and we want what we want because we're owed, they're going to beat us in the courts because they control the court. So the name of the case, if y'all want to look it up, is called Adjoin versus Robinson. That's the actual name of the case, right? You can look it up in the SCOTUS blog, because everything the Supreme Court do, they got a blog for it, right? So look, and I'm gonna land my plane. In South Carolina, is 30 Republicans and 16 Democrats in the state Senate, right? In North Carolina, is 28 Republicans and 22 Democrats in the state Senate. In Mississippi, is 36 Republicans and 16 Democrats in the state Senate. In the House of Representatives, because it's two houses in states, In South Carolina, it's 80 Republicans and 43 Democrats. Everywhere black people are talking about creating a new black majority state, we don't control the state house. We don't control the governorship. We don't control neither house, neither chamber in the state to make any rules or any law. We don't control the state police. We don't control the state investigations bureau. We don't control fucking nothing. And they're showing us, Republicans are showing us that we will never control any of this shit in the South. Fuck reparations for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Don't think about reparations for 1 minute. Think about what they're doing to our bodies, how they kidnapping our women, how they poisoning our communities with water, how they killing our black men, how they putting railroad cars full of guns in community, how they fucking with us on other shit, and how they control the state legislatures in all of the southern states. How the fuck now do you get any reparations in that block of states from Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, South Carolina, North Carolina? They control all that shit. That shit is the Republican mafia. You're not going down there and taking over shit down there. So full stop. What it means to be black. Once they saw how close we was 5-4 to win the gerrymandering, they said, "Oh, fuck that. We got another playbook." Like Black Press was saying. We're gonna stop. We're gonna misclassify what it means to be black once again. So we're gonna create a whole new black system of who is qualified to be black and who isn't all over again. So now we back 120 years back to 1900, and they doing this shit all over again to us. Republicans are doing this shit all over again to us. They can't outbirth us, and I'm not for abortion, but if they can't stop, if they can't make people have babies, if they can't do anything else, the last final remedy is to just change the definition of what black is to weaken black power. Now, this is the one area where reparation is dead ass fucking wrong. This is, I agree with reparations on 99 things, but this is the one thing that's back fucking fired quick, and it's in Supreme Court right now. The definition of what it means to be black. We need every fucking Latino to say, yeah, I'm black too. We need every fucking, I don't care if you're Chinese and have black and you check that black mark, because that shit don't do nothing for their community. That helps our community. If you Latino, you check black, but that means that the resources for that, for the black people increase. If you Chinese, you check black, yeah, I'm part black. That means the resources for black people increase. So that's why they're coming after it, because there's so many mixed blood people and multiracial people that they want to loosen the rules on who can claim what. So if they allowed to do this in the Supreme Court to change the meaning of black, it ain't going to help reparations delineate that, oh no, it's going to fucking kill reparations, because now there's less black people, right? And they muddying the waters for reparations. They muddying the waters for anything we want and taking away our power at the same damn time. All
right. Shepard was going in there, and I saw 6 Lack. I saw you with your thumb down, and what he's trying to say, and to a certain degree, I understand what he's saying, because let me just read this part. And Shepard, when you talked about Dan and Robinson, I talked about that topic because that was actually the article from Black Enterprise that I read stating that case and whatnot. But let's just go back into what it actually said, right? It says, according to a 2003 Supreme Court ruling, the definition of black includes every person who identifies as black on census forms, including people who identify as black in any other race, such as white, Asian, Latino. When we think about that just for 1 minute, we're not saying that everybody that identifies as black is identifying as a black American or descendant of slave. What I get what Shepard is saying right here in terms of the actual political clout that you have, they're doing their best to try to water it down. Because think about this, we keep talking about, people keep talking about, well, you know, Hispanics are going to be the number one group in 2045 or 2050 and this and that. Well, we got to remember that Hispanics ain't a damn race. Okay? Hispanics are not a race. Hispanics could be black. They could be white. They could be mixed race. They could be Indian. They could be hell. They could be Asian. I mean, we want to be real about it. So what they're trying to do right here is make sure what he's saying is correct. They're trying to go ahead and they're trying to get us out of the way in the actual state on the state level, but they're also trying to screw us eventually on the national level as well too. Because by sitting up here saying that you're going to have more of these Hispanics, and we already know a lot of them already identify as white. So the ones that actually identify as black, they're sitting up here and they're going to tell the people, well, you're actually not black. Mud could be blacker than you, but black is an ace of spade. Tell you that he's black because they are Hispanics, they are Latinos that would tell you that they're black. Not all of them, but there are some that would tell you like, "Hey, I'm black. I speak Spanish, you know, but I'm black." But what they're trying to do is go ahead and just dilute the power. That's why I said in Florida, you got Ron DeSantis up here screwing over these congressional maps and stuff like that. You got in Alabama and all of the deep South, they're trying to go ahead and do this. And all of the deep South, they're trying to water down the vote. Like I say, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm thinking independent. I voted Democrat for most of my life and switched to independent. I'm not just voting people just based on party anymore, but I see the hustle here. Okay. When in the hell has a Republican set up here and gonna tell you and give you the damn definition of blackness? I agree that we have to define what blackness is. I don't have an issue with us delineating. And on that, Shepherd, I don't have a problem with us delineating saying that we are the descendants of slaves. We are black Americans. Those people are black there too, but they are not black Americans. As long as the political power is
Agree 100%.
as long as the political power is still going to be within our reach, our grasp, and whatnot. So I think we have to. There's nothing wrong. We need to delineate. We need to go ahead and say, "Hey, we are Black Americans. Those are Black Jamaicans. Those are Black Haitians. Those are Black Mexicans. Those are Black who. But we are Black Americans." So I don't have an issue. But this right here to me is troubling, and it should be troubling to all of us because this is a damn con right here. This is a hustle right here. This is a way. These.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
So when you pull a thread, right? I agree with delineation, right? We do need to know who we are, what our numbers are, and where we come from, and our heritage, all that. That makes sense. But delineation on its own is just a tool. It doesn't do anything beyond being a math tool, right? It's not like the delineation isn't a cause. It isn't a fight. It isn't anything that we want. We don't get a check from delineation. It's just a tool. But tools can be used both ways. The delineation that the Republicans are doing, they're going to delineate all of our power using the same language that reparations this are using this in a different way to hurt us and hurt reparations.
Oh shit! The space done froze up on me.
Yo, you there, Tyler?
Yeah, the space is trying. It was trying to freeze up on me. I was trying to go ahead and get read, but it started like freezing up and acting up. Like I was like trying for a second. Yeah, I was trying for a second. Like it's kicking you out too. Yeah, I was trying to. It had me stuck, man. I couldn't hit nothing for a second. So like, I'm sorry about that, man.
Hey, all on one end, but don't boost it. Do everything else.
I did that right before the actual space started. I went ahead and all in one and everything else. So I don't want to. Yeah, I already hit that. But like I said, I hope Shep will come back in here. Like I say, I'm about delineation, but I see a hustle going on here. I see the way that these people are trying to hustle and trying to take things from black people right here. He's right. They're sitting up here and they constantly trying to gerrymander everything. Districts that's always been a black district. They're trying to go ahead and steal the power away from black people and stuff like that. So I'm just saying that we need to go ahead and keep our heads on it. Now, this is what I'm saying right here. I'm gonna kick it to you, Reed, that they're willing to go ahead and tell a black person what's black and define blackness, but they're not willing to do that with white folks. Like I say, anybody that come over here that they think could benefit the white race, you was something else when you was across the water. Now you come here. Oh, we see a way that we can get more power and we can get more prestige and we can get more of this and more resources and this and that. We're gonna make you an honorary white folk over here. Okay, but when it comes to black people, people that have identified, people sitting up here telling you on the yeah, I'm a black person too. No, I'm not a black American. No, I'm not a descendant of slaves, but I am black. Oh, well, we'll go ahead. Now, so what in the hell is somebody from Haiti? or somebody from somebody, let's say somebody from, and we know a lot of Dominicans don't classify themselves as black. What's happening if you do have a Dominican that comes from the Dominican Republic, say, hey, I'm black, I'm a black Hispanic? You gonna sit up here and tell this person that, hey, you're not black, that you are Asian, you Chinese, you East Indian, you white? What are you gonna tell these people? How are you gonna classify them? This is something that we need to kind of keep an eye on, because like I say, I see the hustle coming. I see the con game. Like, these people never stop. When they don't think for a second, as the population numbers start dwindling for a lot of white Americans, they see this. And the next little con game is like, oh, well, Hispanics are the number one. Hispanics are made up of every other race, man. Stop it. Hispanics are not a race. Don't even come here with that nonsense. Hispanics are not a race. And we as black people, too many of our people in this country don't see that. When they think of Hispanics, they think of a whole nother race. They think of something, I don't know what they think of it as, but they think of something exotic and something different, and something that ain't black or white or this and that. And these people tell you straight up, either they're gonna put white on their actual application most of the time. I'm a white Hispanic. I'm a I'm a I'm an indigenous Hispanic. They're everything. There is no just Hispanic right here. Let me go ahead and kick that to you, Ree. I know you want to add something to the conversation. How you doing tonight?
Hey everyone. Hey Miss Taylor, Ray, and DJ and Black Press. I wish Chef would have stayed on stage, and I ran off. But I will say this. Hispanic comes from the Latin term Spanish. Is Hispanicus, and it says the ancient Romans called the Ibrium Peninsula Hispania. So that was kind of where the play on Hispanic term comes from. And so, honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of us who have been working behind the scenes, actually trying to, get in and make sure that we do actionable things in regards to delineation. Even though it is a term, it still means something. And I will say that it's not that I'm not alarmed, it's that I'm alarmed to the point where those of us who are actually doing something behind the scenes in our respective states understand why we have to get to a point where we define Black nationality and ethnicity. That is the reason why we said that those of us who are descendants of the United States of America, from chattel slavery here in the United States, that you should be classifying yourself as an American freedman. Black is a racial term. It's an umbrella term that would include a whole slew of everybody, as you can tell. The only problem I have with Shepard's line of train of thinking is that somehow including other people who don't even classify themselves as Black ethnically, that they should somehow now be forced to, because you want to somehow win over the Louisiana territories. I would say that it's all about action. And then, two, at the same time, I would never say fuck reparations, not to any descendants. You're not going to tell people in the Jewish community to fuck the Holocaust and the reparations they got. At the end of the day, the people got active and they got organized in their states. So the call to action should have been the thing that came out of his mouth. And I'm going to say I will never disrespect my ancestors in any way. Number two, anybody who comes to the United States and decides that they want to classify themselves as white or whatever they want to identify from their prospective home country, that's their business. But the business of American freedmen is the business of the United States government. I think ever since Ketanji brought up on the Supreme Court the American freedmen, she initiated the American freedmen discussion. Republicans have been scrambling, so have the Democrats. And this is the one thing I always tell everyone: you cannot just be a one party identifier when it comes to paying attention to what's going on in your state. Libertarians, Republicans, and the Democrats, you need to pay attention to who's all in office in each position and what are they doing. And you need to also go into your government and find out how you can get involved. Find out who the players are. A Google search will help at the same time. But I'm not going to sit here and be running down the street talking about everybody needs to be considered black when everybody's not black. We can't do that. If you want to talk about how to get the actual numbers and to fight back the Republicans that are down in Louisiana, which is my mother's hometown of Shreveport, then that's the discussion that we have. We have a discussion on how to galvanize and get people to recognize, hey, these things are just the same. These things are going on just as how we did in Tennessee, how we did up here, what we're doing up here in Virginia with Mount Pillier descendants, same thing. So it would be interesting to see what the Republicans do, but I would implore everybody to get to know your Twitter handles of the Supreme Court. If you notice, when I post, I always tag the FBI, I tag Homeland Security, I tag ICE, I tag the Department of Justice, I tag the Civil Rights Department, and I also tag the Supreme Court because they're on Twitter. And so this is the discussion that we want to bring the light and shed light on. Then we invoke the American freedmen, populace. And we also tag the U.S. Census because now this is our lane to say, hey, we need an actual number because the Republicans down in Louisiana are trying to gerrymander and reclassify a group of people by way of another form of genocide. That's it. But I don't know. I don't fearmonger. I'm not going to sit here and rush everybody into fear. We need to be strategic, and we need to think, have an open mind, so that way we can be able to tackle all avenues to seal the bleed. And I'm always about sealing the bleed. You have to cauterize whatever we got to do to stop the bleed. And for those of us who are working on reparations is not the only thing that we're doing. So that's another misnomer that I also want to put out there at the same time. If you can't walk and chew gum, that's your issue, not mine. Maybe somebody can train you and show you how to do it. But we do more than just talk about reparations. So, I land.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate your point of view, and I understand exactly what both you and Shepard are saying. Like I said, you still need the delineation. You still need to make it plain and simple that we are Black Americans. We are descendants of slaves and stuff like that. My thing with this whole thing, and I see it for something that they're trying to do right now and something that they're trying to do down the road as well, too, that they're trying to completely take out any Black Latino, any Black person that's Latino and identifies as being a Black Latino on the actual census. You have these southern states, you have Louisiana and you have Alabama, them trying to go ahead and get rid of that. So that's my issue. That I understand what he's saying on that point, like that, like reparations, like, yeah, I'm never gonna give up on that, and I'm gonna die talking about reparations. I mean, that's to me, that's what it's about. I believe he's also about reparations too. Like I said, I understand both of your point of views, but my thing is this: is that we can't sit up here. And I think it's just completely wrong for you have Republicans sitting up here telling Black people, you're going to go ahead and tell us once again what Blackness is. For hundreds of years, you've sat up here and you've told Black people what it is to be Black. And once again, you're doing it now. Now, we're Black people and we're Black Americans, we're descendants of slaves and this and that. But there are other Black people on this earth as well, too, that know they're Black. And when they come here, they can sit up here and tell these white folks, I'm a Black person. They have no damn right to sit up here and go ahead and take away these people Blackness, all for vote, all for political power, so they can go ahead and screw Black Americans over, because that's what they're really trying to do. They're trying to keep us without any kind of power whatsoever. They want to dilute what little bit of power we have in these states, and in some of these states where you have a sizable Black population, they want to go ahead and keep us silent and keep us quiet. So they're thinking that anybody that could possibly be an ally, anybody that could actually add to that, they want to go ahead and get them out the goddamn way. Now, like I said, they're not.
So how how you actually block that and you defend that. The 39th Congress passed a congressional bill on the federal level when they emancipated our ancestors. So again, there is a fight for us in that lens. We just have to get into the fight and find out who it is and who's causing the bleed. Shep laid it out as to who he has the numbers with. I actually thought she was up here in Virginia with me. Are you down in Louisiana?
Who you talking about? Me, sister, or
Shepherd?
Oh,
No,
I believe Shepard's in New York.
Either way, if whomever is in office at this moment in time, Republican wise, there should be something that we are doing on the state level as well as on the federal level to actually block them in the ACLU, as well as even petitioning the Supreme Court to actually take a look at this and fight them on that front. Like I'm just not in the business of, like I said, fear mongering. I'm just not.
But do you Reed, do you understand exactly like my concern about the whole thing, that what I'm talking about?
Yes, and it's very valid. So I'm not saying no one's concern is valid. I'm just not in the business of saying calling other people black and they're not. No, why?
Oh no, I agree with
They're
you.
not.
No, I agree with you 100% on that.
Right, because their resources that they're getting now, we can't call ourselves them and get them resources.
I agree, but here's the issue that I'm saying, that if you
I
have
heard my name. What is that?
wait, hold on one sec. Wait, hold on 1 second, Shepard. I mean, we're gonna, because we got a little order, but we're gonna get to you too. But here's my concern, Reed. Like I say, if you have a black person, let's say that comes from a Spanish speaking nation that knows that they're black, identifies that they're black. No, they're not black Americans. No, they're not descendants of slaves. But this person goes and fills out the paperwork, and this person sees all of these different options on that paperwork, and that person say, "Well, hey, I'm not an African American or Black American. I'm damn sure not white. I'm not Asian. I am an actual black person. I am a black Hispanic." Is it right for Republicans to sit up here and say, "Hey, you know what? You're not black. You don't get the black the pick black on your paperwork." I mean, that's my issue right there. Like, do you kind of understand what I'm saying? Like, is it
No, I do understand what you're saying, and again, that goes back to why it's important to invoke the United States Census, and also invoke the fact that there are different types of black people on the umbrella level, and the delineation comes in nationality and ethnicity. I'm not going to budge on those three things. So to me, even though the term delineation was mentioned as a means to say, hey, it's just a word, it's actually something that's an actionable word that you put in action to do when you go to the places like the OMB, as well as the United States Census.
Delineation is a tool, not just a word.
okay?
Tool is a tool that you use, that's being used, and it's a rightfully so tool. Either way,
I said it's a tool that could be used both ways, for our benefit and to harm us. So you got to.
Shepard, we gonna get to you, Shepard.
So my understanding, from what I understand it as, I don't see it as a harm. So who is it harming?
Delineation is being used by the Republicans right now to reclassify what black is, so that they can gerrymander our districts. If they can't outbirth us, if they can't outvote us, if they can't win the popular vote, then they're going to use delineation to delineate who is black and who is not black, to limit who we are. They won 2 cases, which I read both cases in the lower courts, where they lost trying to delineate blackness. So then they went to the Supreme Court, where it is now, and if they win there, we may be reduced from having 44 million black people in America on the census to having now 30, and that delineates our power.
Okay, well, Shepard, let me go ahead, because we got a bunch of hands up, bro. So I know you kind of went for a minute. So let me go ahead and get to my man. Let me get the Black State, then I'm gonna get the Coops, and I'm gonna get the Hilda. Then I'll go to Black Pressure, and then I'll get to you, Shepard. So black majority state, bro. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you so much. Shout out to New Soda Ray and DJ Sedge One and everybody else in there, Miss Rella. Thank you so much for just going in a little bit there. Look, Shepard's a Pan-Africanist, and I don't have anything against Pan-Africanists. I get it. I understand it. I think most of us had that thought, in our youth, but we've all grown up and we've become adults.
Shepard's not a Pan-Africanist, man. Stop. I'm a black nationalist.
Well, it's this. Okay, all right. I don't want to argue that point because there's really not a whole lot of difference there. But we are lineage, and we are lineage, and that's it. Lineage first, lineage second, lineage last. Period. So I want to speak to the topic.
Let me speak.
I want to speak to the topic because in Louisiana right now, the Hispanic vote represents 3.5% of the voters in that state. 3.5%. It's very similar to Georgia, where they have this 3%. Every other state in the southeastern United States that can become black majority states, the number is much, much less. And the projections into the next 30 or 40 years that the Hispanic population is going to remain very, very low in those states. So I want to make it very, very clear. If there are black Hispanics there, they're not going to amount to a whole hell of a lot. And no, we should not be depending on them for anything. We need to do everything for.
Hold on one second, Black. Somebody has a mic unmuted. Please make sure you have your mics. Everybody that's a speaker, make sure your mic is muted while Black is talking. So please make sure if you want to speak, also raise your hand and we will get to you. Sorry about the interruption, Black, but make sure everybody has their mic muted while somebody's speaking. And please do not chime in while somebody's speaking. Sorry about that, Black. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
No problem. I appreciate it. So Black Americans have got to stand on our own 10 toes. We got to do it for ourselves. We can't be worried about forming coalitions with people who serve their own masters. They're not going to do for us. They're going to do for themselves. They're going to use us to get in positions to do for themselves. So we gotta get over that. We just gotta grow up and get over that. Every state that's on the Black State of America map actually can be taken over regardless of who's in control, regardless of the gerrymandering, because none of that is relevant when you become 60% of the voting population. All of that goes away. So I really, so beyond the pale for you to mention that. We had a space where we talked about 1 quadrillion. This is the power of controlling those states over the next 100 years. Now that was just looking at our current GDPs, our current income, and the current tax base of those states, and just multiplying it by 2. The reality is the United States dollar has had 1,200% inflation over the last 100 years. When you run the numbers that way, the number starts to look like 4 quadrillion or 5 quadrillion, and that doesn't include any growth in the population, any growth in the economy, any growth in the tax base. So when someone says that we can't do something, they are literally telling you and your great-grandchildren and their great-grandchildren to go fuck off, go to hell, fuck you. And we got to get over it. We got to get over it, because if we don't control this wealth, they will. And I'll end with that.
Black, before you leave real quick, I just want to ask you, what's your opinion on the actual, what you see them trying to gerrymander a lot of these congressional maps and stuff? How do you feel about that?
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So we just had, and I think people are still going through these OMB census, Office of Management Budget, where they're actually setting up delineation at the federal level. So sometimes the devil has a plan, but God also has a plan. And I'm speaking with Black Republicans. since you made this very relevant to me, and they're saying we need to get beside these Republicans and we need to control the conversation so that American freedmen become the designation in the state of Louisiana. That, if you want to do reparations, I mean, you look at California, you're already ahead of the game when you do that. So we got to look at opportunities and use them to our advantage. I'm full on board with it because this is the way that we need to move.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate getting your opinion on this matter right here. Let me just go ahead and say, guys, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the News Holder YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'm going to put that up in the actual Jumbotron. And also, if you can, support us on Cash App. That is $News Toter. Once again, $News Toter. News Toter is the largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America. The largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America. Let me go ahead and get to Coops. Coops, please go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, family. Peace to the room. Peace to the host, News Toter. Thank you. And to the co-host. And I just wanted to jump in real quick just to add a little bit to it that I see that really my points have already been spoken, but I'll just double down a little bit on it because I did reply to the original post. Yes, what on the surface may look like a problem, but as Black Majority State just stated, this may actually be to our advantage in the long run, in the long game. California has already said that for reparations purposes that it's going to be descendants of American slaves, American chattel slaves, freedmen, and for reparations. And when they looked at the Black population, the quote Black population in California, it's 2.6 million residents, but for the descendants of chattel slaves, it's 2 million, and the other 600,000 are other Blacks. And so what they're talking about is having the delineation of, on the state forms, on the official state of California forms, Black descendants of American chattel slaves, or the wording such as, something like that. And then Black other, or no, Black not descendants of American chattel slaves. So it's not that their people won't be, like Black Latinos, Black Africans, Black Caribbeans, Black whomever else won't be counted as Black, but there's that they're delineating for reparations purposes the descendants. And so I think that that's a good thing. So you can still have, as far as this Louisiana situation, maybe that's how we need to push and send letters to the court, friends of the court letters, to say, no, it needs to be Black descendants and Black other, or Black not descendants, but they're still Black. That way, nobody's vote is, the gerrymandering and the redistricting and all that stuff is not going to affect those who are not descendants. My concern, and I do certainly understand that we don't want to have other Blacks who aren't descendants or foundational Black Americans. I don't want them cut off. However, we do have to be real that they also have many times a divided interest into wherever their nationality, ethnicity is from, whichever country. So, I don't want to get a situation where, as has happened since the beginning of time, we're always including others, but they don't include us. And I'm not saying that to make it a tit for tat. That's just being real. Of course, we don't want to cut anyone out, but we may need to look at this court case and see, one, how we could turn it to our advantage, and two, as Gray was stating, when we're in a black majority state, then it's really a non-factor. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. I'm not very concerned in light of the Office of OMB's census. They're delineating, their survey is trying to come up with the right names and so forth. So we just need to make sure we're vocal with OMB, vocal with the court, and see if we could use it to our advantage, and then get that great reverse migration going, so that we are majority in the states, and we can then control what's going on in the states. And let's do that by the year 2030, which is the next census. If folks will go ahead and make a 5-year to 8-year plan now, we can be majority in a number of those states. And then, what the Republicans do won't be our problem. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And thanks again for having me on the stage.
No problem. I appreciate having you. Thank you, sister. I'm gonna give you the order of the next few speakers, because we had somebody say that their actual hand thing isn't working. So we're gonna go Hilda, then I'm gonna go IC, gonna go to Insane, Black Press, and Shepherd. So and Rhea, I'm sorry, we'll go ahead and get back to you too, since I just saw you with your hand up. So
I'll wait. I can wait till everybody go.
Oh, appreciate that. Who said that? You said that, Hilda?
No, that was Rella.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. But yeah, let's.
Hey, Hilda. Hey, too.
Hey, Ray, and DJ.
Hey, what's going on, sister?
Yeah, I just coming into the room, so I wasn't here from the beginning of the space, and I didn't hear, everything you guys were talking about, or even you mentioning, talking about the article. But from what I know about it, I thought it was about people actually checking off, like most likely biracial people, checking off Black and Hispanic or Black and white, and the Republicans wanted them to choose either Black or white. They didn't want them picking off, because even if they did pick Black and Hispanic, they would still count as Black, right? And the whole idea, the Republicans wanted them to just choose Black or white. They didn't want them to, choose a race and then a nationality or ethnicity or something like that. And also, how are we going to work with Republicans? Like Black said, if their intention, because what they did was, because the white population in Louisiana has shrunk, they still, through the redistricting of the maps, they still have majority of representation. when the Black community should actually have it, because they are a larger community now, so they deserve and need more representation. So how are we going to work with Republicans if that's what they're trying to do? They're not trying to work with us. They're actually trying to keep political power. So that's my question for Black.
Black actually went back down to the listener, but that is the $1 million question right there, because I myself really want to know exactly, how many Republicans actually really you don't really see many of them that's vocal in terms of supporting actual reparations and things of that nature. And speaking on what you were saying about the Black and the Latino thing, is the fact of the matter is that if they don't want people filling out Black and Black, because you got the Black Latino, Black non-Latino, and all this and that, then take it off the actual application, because you have white Hispanic, got non-white Hispanic, and this and that. So my thing is that if you're going to do this for Black people, are you also doing that for white people as well too? So if they, if you don't want, because I'm sure they don't have an issue with white people sitting up here putting white Hispanic and all of that other kind of stuff too. So if it's not an issue for white people, then I don't really feel it should be an issue for Black people as well too. So I'm just here in Florida. I see Ron DeSantis there's been a big stank about it. I see it kind of in the deep south a lot. That it's kind of worrisome the way that they're trying to get these districts and stuff like that. Even though, and these are heavy red leaning states already, but it's like it's not still enough. It's like, hey, they got to go ahead and they're trying to squeeze the blood out of a turnip or something like that. Like it's just not enough for these people right here that they won't stop. So that's my issue right there. Like I say, I don't, people that if you're from a different land and this and that like that, I don't even see that impacting our reparations claim or this and that, because like I said, we can decide. We already know. All you gotta do is just go ahead and do your lineage and whatnot, and you can prove that you're a descendant of slaves and stuff like that. So to me, by having a few black Hispanics or a few black Asians or a few biracials or whatever added to the black or whatever, this and that, fine. I don't care, because let's be honest, white people are doing it. White people have been doing it for the longest time. Anytime that they can actually go ahead, and people that they would never in a million years normally consider white, but they feel like it's going to gain them an advantage, an edge like that, they've been going ahead and doing it for the longest. White people that was in the Middle East and stuff like that, they didn't consider these people white until they actually came to America. And then all of a sudden, this is another way for you to go ahead and gain another edge and another advantage over everybody else. Now you're white. Now you're the honorary white person.
With the Irish and the Italian news, so
Yeah, they've been doing it. They've been doing it for the longest and whatnot. So my thing is that I'm to the point like this. I'm gonna be honest. If it's going to gain black Americans some power, and I'm not about begging and pleading and this and that or whatever, if it's going to gain us some power as black Americans, I don't have an issue with that. Like I say, we know who's entitled to reparations. Okay. We know who's going to get the reparations. Everybody that comes over here that's black is not eligible for reparations. So I'm not, the least bit concerned about that. I'm not going to tell somebody, hey, you need to go ahead. I'm not going to beg, oh, please, go ahead and circle black that you black and this and that. No, if you black or not. Just like it's a bunch of black people that come over here from the Dominican Republic and other places, they know they're black, but they don't want to be affiliated with black. So those people can stay to themselves right there. Those self-loathing, self-hating people or whatever. But like I say, I'm a black American. I don't have an issue with us. And I don't even we had a space before months ago that, I don't even want to get into that about the whole black or Negro, this or that or whatever. I don't have an issue with us having our separate classification as black Americans and stuff like that either. Like I said, but that's just me. I know everybody has a difference of opinion. I'm not going to hold it up because I want to go ahead and get around the space. So let me get to I see
one thing real quick before you go on, Tyler. So what you said right there at the end is the reason why we need to delineate and do all this other stuff. So when those other blacks come over here, like you said, they don't, they can say they black, but they know they're not black American, but they use things like, the Martin Luther King Scholarship Fund, because they say they black American or they African American. So that right there is a problem, to keep these other blacks from using our, rights, civil rights, whatever type of affirmative action that's meant for us, to keep them from using it for themselves. But go ahead, though.
But I'm saying, and I'm gonna keep.
Let me say one more thing, please, because even if once we do delineate, right, and they have their own section to check off on, which would be different from ours, right? If they're in that district, they still will count as a black person, right? So
yes, that is correct. That is correct, because black is actually not an ethnicity. It is actually a racial designation, and you cannot fight for reparations on the federal level based on race. The Supreme Court has already stated that, and so the reason why I'm going to do more research in this Louisiana case. I'm sorry, News Toda. I was not trying to cut anybody, but I had to say this. I posted the ACLU knows about the case in Louisiana, and they are going to be suing over trying to stop what's going down with the redistricting in Louisiana. So with that being said, I go back to my statement as well as with Black. We have to get active with the people down in Louisiana like we've done everywhere else. Talk to the people about running for positions in office to get people out of office that's been there. The larger population can take over if they start running for office. And I'm going to land there, and I'm going to do some more research, and I'll pull up some information for y'all.
All right, let me get to I see. Go ahead and unmute your mic. I know you're saying you're having issues raising your hand. I see. Are you there? I see the shame. Are you there? I'm gonna give you a second because I don't know if you may sometimes there's a delay. So because I know you're saying that you're having some issues raising your hand, that you don't see the actual hand raising button. I see the shame. Are you there? Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and move on. I'll go ahead and I'll circle you and we'll come back and get to you when you get a chance to go ahead and get your connection and everything straightened out. And here's my issue, like really like you said, that yeah, the this is lineage based. It's not, that's why I said that there are no threat. And I get what you're saying, DJ. Yeah, we have to hey, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm on the mic, I think.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, listen. These people brought us from the greatest civilization that will ever be. We need to make that known. All right, our land is Kemet. We are not from no jungle or whatever they trying to make it seem like we came from. We are the humans on this earth. And if they were human, they would have you just like we do. What they did is they tore our families asunder, and they took us to every island from coming west. All right? They came from the east, and they invaded Egypt. It's not really Egypt. It's the land is Kemet. We are the people of Kemet. All right? Those pyramids were not built by slaves. They were built by a high degree of knowledge. All right? And we are made to believe. That book is called the Bible. It's full of lies. All right?
Okay, brother. I mean, not to cut you off because I really don't like cutting people off, but just based on the topic tonight that we're talking about, do you have anything that you like to add about about Louisiana politicians redefining what a black person is?
Yeah. Well, what I would say about that is that to redefine what a black person is, first thing is that we're not black. We're the humans. If they were human, they would have you. And those people from those other islands, that they were dropped off. And what they're trying to do is claim part of being human, because that's what we are. We're not black. All right? We need to more or less detach ourselves from that, because what that is the law of opposites, like black and white. I've never seen a white man, all right? And I'm 58 years old. I've been looking for a white man, and I've never seen one.
Okay, brother, I get what you're saying, but here in America, we classify it as black, and unfortunately, that's what it is. We live our lives as black people. I understand what you're saying, that there was no such thing as race until actually white people came up with it and this and that. But okay,
they are the cavemen. They came from caves, and what they did is they saw the greatness that we had, and they invaded Egypt.
Okay, brother, I don't have that's another discussion for another time. And just to be honest, I know they invaded Egypt, they invaded the entire world, but most of our bloodline,
that's our land.
Okay.
That is our land.
Okay, brother.
I look up the word. Hold up, just hear me out.
No, brother.
Look up the word Kemet.
Yeah, brother. I understand what you're saying.
My timing is wrong. Maybe my timing is bad. I'll back up.
Okay. I appreciate that, brother. No harm, no foul. So I get you passionate about Kemet and whatnot. There's no problem with that. It's just
I just want you to know the truth. I'm passionate about those who come behind me.
Okay, brother. I appreciate that. I got to go to the next speaker. Insane. Please go ahead and unmute your mic, brother.
What's up, Toter? Ray,
What's up?
Great space, man. I think Co-ops T, Hilda John, and numerous other speakers hit on some very important topics. Rella also hit on the key thing. When we are trying to respond, if we can't literally travel to a place, we have what is literally at our disposal is a library. You know, part of the written word. Certainly use it by all means. I think she's right when we're pushing an agenda to always try and tag those governmental entities that could handle those situations. I tend to do the same thing if it's something going on in California. I'm tagging California Governor Newsom. Mississippi, I'm tagging EPA. And that pays off. I mean, even an entity like Yelp, if you mess around and put a bad, or if you lie on a restaurant, put a bad review on there, you get major blowback because of that. So she hit on something very, very important. They do monitor these sites regarding the topic. Yeah, I think anytime they start, wanting to redefine anything that has to do with us, yeah, it bears scrutiny. It should be scrutinized intently. And again, looking at it from different perspectives, co-ops offered something interesting. Hilda offered something interesting. It warrants looking at it from many different perspectives because in that part of the nation, you got Tuberville, I believe, in one place. You got DeSantis doing something. So it could be a trend, part of some overall agenda, just coordinated in a different fashion. That bears consideration, I think. So certainly, it's something definitely worth scrutinizing, definitely. And I'll land my plane with that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate you. We're gonna go Black Pressure. We're gonna go Shepherd. We're gonna go Black my man, Black Majority State. We're gonna get you back into. We're gonna go Black Pressure, Shepherd, Ree, and we're gonna get to you, Black Majority State. Yeah, y'all like. I mean, like I say, I don't really have an issue with like the historical things and this and that. We know that's factual and whatnot. Like, but if we could, let's just try to focus here in America and let's try to focus on you know what I'm saying, the actual topic as much as possible, y'all. So, Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
So, News, I wanted to kind of build on something you brought up and also something that Shepard brought up. Now, I say this is a disclaimer. This is not an attack against Shepard. I just want to contend with something he said when he said it would be, I guess it would be fruitful for the Hispanic immigrants or even Asian immigrants to actually check, black on any type of government document. I'll say this. I'm sure everybody in the room knows Shepard also is just as informed and studied as me, if not more. Of course, our elder Dr. Claude taught us about it, Dr. Umar, and I know how people feel about this guy, but I will say this. When he engages immigrants, he does an excellent job of extracting, their true intentions and true feelings as it relates to Black Americans. But if you listen to Tariq engage those immigrants, these people to their core, even before they even come into the United States, these people to their core hate Black Americans. You can go to the Dominican, you can go Dominican Republic, you can go to Haiti, you can go to Puerto Rico, Mexico, all parts. So yeah, I know it's not Mexico, it's not the Caribbean, but all parts of those areas, you can do the research yourself. These people, not on just the census, on student loan applications, on home loan applications. You can go to the DMV. Well, I know in the East Coast, maybe the brothers out there call it DMV, call it the DPS in Houston, where I'm from. But where you go get your driver's license, these people overwhelmingly identify as Caucasian on these government documents. And also, if you look at the statistics on when these other ethnicities, Middle Eastern, Caribbean, Asian people, when they marry outside of their own race, they go straight to Caucasian people. When they marry out to white people. So I would tell Shepard, maybe in the universe that you created, maybe that would be a great idea. And like I say, I'm saying in a parallel universe, that might be a great idea. But everybody knows all those ethnic groups in the Caribbean, they would commit literal suicide before they identify as black. And I'll land my plane there.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Let me go ahead and get to Shepard now. Shepard, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, yeah, peace and blessing. So, all right, so I never mentioned the word immigrant purposely because I don't really. These are separate issues to me, Black Precious. So that word never came out of my mouth. What I said was that the way we are currently classified, as it was laid out in the two lowercase cases that we won in Louisiana and Alabama, is the way that it should be. It should stay. The way that they took us to court, the Republicans, to weaken Black power, and the way that they lost is the way that should stay. So whatever way it's classified, without getting into immigrants and getting into who hates us and historically and going back to 1900s, whatever way we are currently right now, as far as our numbers to get what we want, we don't want to send anybody to the bench with no injuries. We in a game. We got 5 players on the court. We don't need to send nobody to the bench. And then the Republicans say, hey, we taking like half your bench too. So now play the game with 4 people and see if you can get what you want. Somehow, some way, whatever we're talking about something, it bleeds into reparations. I don't speak reparations talk 24/7 every day. This case, when I was talking, I only used delineation, not to really speak about reparations specifically as the whole topic. There are other things that are happening that have nothing to do with reparations to Black people. I mentioned specifically criminal justice, the abduction of our women, our health care, what they use as far as the numbers to build a hospital in Black communities, what they use the census for to give. We have 45% of our population and 80% of all of our baby boomers, not old people, the women that have our babies are currently in custodial care of redevelopment and housing authorities across the nation. All the parks, all the projects, all the ghetto housing where people are on welfare and social service, those benefits that they get to maintain families, our weakest and poorest among our race are determined by the numbers that the Republicans want to cut right now. Remember the Republican playbook, as you so eloquently said it earlier, Black Pressure, it's the same playbook. Reagan, war on poverty. Biden, war on drugs. Clinton, war on drugs. All war on poor people. If you look at the states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, these are the top 5 poorest states in the nation receiving welfare from the entire federal budget. So this warfare, when they try to take our numbers, they're trying to take even more resources from poor Black people in these areas. So I'm not looking at reparation as being the issue that we always have to talk about. As Rella said, we can chew gum at the same time. Now, these cases that I named, and the cases that News Toted named, we're specifically talking about these cases. We gotta sometimes, and News Toted, I say this to you, I'd love to have a space sometimes where you have a panel and everybody else's listeners for a minute. And the people that are versed on these issues specifically, just the issue of your topic, are the speakers, and then an hour in, we bring up listeners. Because if you can't tell me how many parishes there are in Louisiana, you can't tell me anything about these cases that just happened. If you can't break down the history of Louisiana politics or name the name of the Democrat who actually put the bill or any of the specifics of this topic, why are you getting so much time to speak? If you don't really know about the topic, you're throwing off the whole room if the room has a topic. So in the future, maybe we'll have one space a week where there's a panel who is vetted, who actually can speak to the topic. Rella herself came up and said, well, I don't know anything about the topic. I just have to Google it real quick. So I just came in the conversation, and she's speaking more so towards reparations, which is her area of speciality, which is cool. But I'm just saying, like if you don't understand the topic, it throws the whole shit off. Like I had to wait, you know what I'm saying, 20 minutes to hear about Kemet before we got back to the topic.
So
Man, shut the hell up, man.
do that. Hopefully we can do it. Hopefully we can do that. But on some real shit, this is not about reparations, man. Black power, period. That's why I'm a black nationalist. I align with whoever is for black power, period. That's it. It ain't no other to it. Pan African is something totally different. Pan African is something totally different. If you are in a community and you need power, well, black nationalists are with you 100%. If you're a reparationist and you want power, black nationalists are with you 100%. That's just what it is. Whoever you are, if you black and you for black people, black nationalists are with you, and it has always been like that throughout the history of black nationalism in the United States. Because for people that's also confused, the new reparations movement, calling yourself FBA, calling yourself B1, calling yourself ADOS, whatever it is, that is a form of black nationalism. It's taking all of the ideas from black nationalism, putting an American flag on it, saying black American nationalism, right? Nothing wrong with that. Black nationalists can take many forms. You yourselves, if you are a reparationist and you are claiming black American, guess what? You're a black nationalist too, just like me. So let's not throw names around we don't even understand. I just had to make that point clear too. Now, Louisiana, black majority state. I just put it in the graph at the top, which I already said earlier. You cannot have black majority states without having black state legislatures. I put in up there at the top of the jumbotron. I put in Mississippi. I put in Alabama. I put in North Carolina. I put in South Carolina. All of those states are controlled by Republican legislatures, and they have made it abundantly clear that they are not for black representation, black power. They are Tommy Tuberville. They are not for reparations. We're criminals for even asking for reparations. So they control this. So if they're controlling Alabama and Louisiana, and they're trying to take black voters out of the mix, off the basketball court, what the fuck do you think they want for us? Nothing good. So saying let's wait and see it. Oh, we don't want to be alarmists. We are in a war right now. There's nothing to be alarmist. No, there's no wait and see. Strap the fuck up, man. Get your head out of just reparations and just moving out of state. We are in a literal war, and you cannot side. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot just have some type of pretend allyship with Republicans who are spitting in your face. Tommy Tuberville said, fuck you, and y'all ate it. Come on, man. Not everybody, but them. We should still be talking about that shit. They are in the South, and they are deep. This is what they're planning. The ultimate goal is. They want to do a constitutional convention, and they want to change the actual Constitution. Go look up Constitutional Convention PAC. It's a Republican PAC. They want to take state power, since they have all the state power in the South. They want to get more representation for the state power so they can change the Constitution. They need a certain amount of state legislatures to all be controlled by Republicans so they can actually write a new Constitution. There's a PAC for it. Steve Bannon just recently said it. He said, this is what our plan is. We're going to change the entire Constitution of America. If they do that, what happens to black Americans? If they are able to actually change the Constitution and go backwards, we will lose everything. When they redline districts and give us bad car loans because we're black in a red line district, when they give us bad home loans because we're black in a red line district, when they do everything, when they give us higher insurance, higher gas prices in the hood, this is all Republicans gerrymandering and redlining districts to take our money and give us less representation for our taxation. The fucking federal, every year, it's a $30 trillion of taxes that people pay. Black Americans pay 13% of $30 trillion yearly. That type of power, we have no representation, and they're trying to take more representation from us. And y'all are like, oh, it's nothing, it's no big deal. How the fuck? I mean, some of y'all logic, I don't understand it, man. Fuck Democrats. Fuck Democrats. Fuck Republicans too. Just black power. Y'all not even
even thinking on a black power level. Nothing you're saying about Republicans is about black power. Nothing Republicans are about black power.
Hey, all right, give us 1 second. Shepard, go ahead and land that in about 40 seconds.
Black Americans, hold up, man. Hold on.
Hey, let Shepard speak.
Yeah, Marcel. Okay, I see you got a different profile. So Marcel, let him. He's gonna land it in 40 seconds, and we'll give you a chance to come up here and speak. Go ahead, Shepard, and land it in 40 seconds.
Y'all gonna get this work, man. You gonna get this motherfucking work, man.
About your
Man,
life.
shut the fuck up, man. Yo, you come in the room.
All right, y'all. Come on, man. We just having a dialogue. It ain't that serious now. Come on now. I know Marcel and I know Shepard. Y'all ain't the best. Y'all ain't the best of friends or whatever. But come on, man. Let's go ahead and Shepard, go ahead and land it for us. You've been going for a minute. Go ahead and land it.
Let's have some decorum amongst us.
Decorum.
You can have these two on the same.
All right, y'all. Hey, look, check it out. Here's what we're gonna do, y'all.
Well, hold on. We Shepard. I'm gonna let Shepard finish up in 20 seconds. I'm gonna let Shepard finish it up in 20 seconds. Marcel, please don't interrupt, and then you can go ahead and you can respond. Since because I'm gonna go ahead and let you respond. So Shepard, please go ahead and say what you got to say in 20, 25 seconds. Wrap it up, and then we're gonna move on.
All right, the nigga come out of me real quick. I'm just gonna tell you, ain't nobody jumping up here gonna be contradicting me and saying no slick shit to me. I'm gonna pop off. You already know that. So let's just keep it a buck. I don't give a fuck who you is. I'm gonna pop off on your ass.
Immigrant punk. You don't even show your goddamn face.
All right. I don't even like muting people. Hey, Shepard, just say what you got to say as far as the topic goes, and then we'll get with the next hand.
I'm trying to, brother. I'm trying to. Y'all let this motherfucker come up and derail the whole conversation.
I mean, Shepard, you was going for a minute. I thought you was gonna go ahead and.
Yeah, but we got decorum because we fuck with each other. We got decorum.
Yeah,
Okay, so is he done? Ask the 4 questions now?
Go ahead, Marcel.
Hey, hold on a second. Hey, Marcel, you got to raise your hand like everybody else, brother. You know what I'm saying? It's just only fair because we got all the folks that's ahead of you. And understand you just got here too as well, but there's folks that got their hands raised. You know what I mean? Well, go ahead, Shepard.
Well, I mean, Marcel is a new speaker. The only other new speaker in front of him would be Volvo. So we could Volvo, do you mind if Marcel go in front of you or what? So Volvo said he's cool with it. So go ahead, Marcel, because you know when the new speakers come in, we try to go ahead. Shepard, I thought you would.
Evidence. Why did he drop down? This person is out here spreading lies, not just against me, but against the reparations movement. That's why I came up here to question him. Make that liar stand on his lies. Don't make it comfortable for him to come up here. He ain't just spreading lies about me. He's spreading lies about the whole damn movement, saying it's a hate movement. Talking about I work for the American Project, whatever the hell that is. Stealing money from some little country's food pantry. Talk about the reparations movement is a hate movement. We got to stop letting these cools, and I ain't talking about what they have in this state. Stop letting these cools and agents feel comfortable coming up here spouting stuff. So I want the cool to stand on his lies. You notice every time I come up here, though, the cool runs. That's the only reason I came up here. This ain't my brother. This ain't we ain't the best of friends. I don't know that cool, and I don't want to know that cool. I don't have a soft place in my heart for cools and agents. Not at all. They ain't my brothers, and I ain't trying to make peace with them either.
All right, because Marcel, I didn't even know when you came up in here. Marcel done dipped too, so just that quick. Volvo, go ahead and this is crazy, man. Like I when I saw the picture up there, I didn't even really pay no attention. I just went ahead and went ahead and let him come up or whatever. But damn, I didn't even know Marcel had a second profile. Let's go ahead and get to Volvo. Volvo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, is Marcel all the way out the room, or did he just drop down this?
I believe he's all the way out the room. I think him and Shepard both left.
I wanted to bounce an idea off him. me bounce it off y'all too, because I came here to bounce it off y'all anyway. This whole confusion over redefining black, right? I feel as though that part of reparations should be we should get it like it'll be something like the Freedmen's Bureau or Bureau of Freedmen Affairs. I believe that all the freedmen should have a freedman number, like a social security number, and like for our future descendants, like our babies and shit, it will have the freedman's number on their birth certificate. Like if I have a child with another freedman woman, it'll have the mother's name and the freedman's number, and it have my name and my freedman's number. That way we can keep track of our people forever. You're a descendant of John Smith Freedman and Mary Taylor Freedman number. Bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? I went into a space and I mentioned this before, and they said I was crazy. So I was just wondering what y'all think about that, and that would clear up everything as far as who's defined as black and who can identify as black. Because I don't care what the rest of them do. I'm only worried about us. How do y'all feel about that? Oh, I see that Marcel is back. Could he? I would like.
I'll just say on that note, Bobo, if anybody say that their idea is crazy, then they might as well just go give up their social security number. It's the same thing. But go ahead, don't talk.
Let's go ahead and get to the next speaker. I believe is Riri. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Could I read? I seen that Marcel just came back in. I know he's big on the Freedmen's Bureau thing.
Well, that's if Marcel wants to come up and speak, because right now he's at a listener, so I don't see.
I sent Marcel a mic. He'll come up if you feel like it.
Yeah, so
you're also talking to someone that also helped with the construction of the Freedmen's Bill that I worked with Marcel and our team worked with Marcel on. So I will say that from my perspective, I don't think that is a bad idea. I would love to trade in my social security number from Uncle Sam and trade it in for something that actually will be strategically connected to the Freedmen's Bureau or bureaus. So that is a great idea. Huh?
No, that wasn't what I was saying. Like we trade our social security number. I'm saying
that would be what it is, because your social security number is tied to right now. It is in place of how economically the Department of Treasury actually knows that you paid your taxes, how much money you make, where you work at. So that would probably be something that would actually be traded in to be connected. So that's something to look into. So yes.
Okay. And you said you're with who? I'm sorry.
Marcel.
No, you said you were with some Freedmen's.
Huh? No, we worked on the Freedmen's the reparations bill that we were proposing with Marcel as a front runner candidate in South Carolina. I was on his team.
Okay. Well, I just want to know, sis, if you could just put that in the air, because I feel like that's a really, really, really good idea, way to track our people. If you
Marcel is still running.
Well, anytime you can go,
Marcel is still running, so he hears you, and I'm pretty sure that it'll be a discussion. I'm pretty sure.
All right, put that in there for me, sis. I appreciate you.
No problem. Newsletter, I did not come in here to make this a reparation space. I actually was addressing what Shepard said in regards to saying, fuck reparations.
That's fine.
And
That's fine.
I apologize for cussing. But I will say that that was my only point in saying that. And I just wanted to stick to the topic. And the reason why I was saying that I was looking up the information is because I didn't know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't need to know how many parishes there are in Louisiana in finding out information. I just need to know where the gerrymandering is happening and what cities it's happening in. If he was talking about Tommy Tuberville, that's an all majority white state. So that tells me, a majority white community. So that tells me that if they're redistricting the lines so that way the majority white community stays white as it is, and then that also means that they can control the votes to keep Tommy Tuberville in office. So, with that being said, again, I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. Who are the players in this situation? When is it time for them to be out of office? How do you get other people, down in Louisiana in positions to vote? And that is something that we can work on and we can do. I don't think that that is an unrealistic conversation. And I don't need a whole panel to have that conversation. And most of the time when we're learning about information, if you bring something to the table with your people, you're having a dialogue to bring an awareness, not to sit in and actually be the stakeholder in how it should go and how it should be. Some people don't even realize how they come off, can rub people the wrong way. And at times you feel like you have to be some sort of bulldog in a China room. You don't. You really don't. And honestly, we could have had this whole conversation respectfully, without all the cussing and the vulgar language, because at the end of the day, there was elders on this stage, there's people, there's women on this stage, so that all that goes out the window. You don't even have care for, he didn't even have care for even the brothers on the stage like himself. All I'm going to say is, if we're going to stick to the information, all right, what's the solution? And stop trying to assume you don't know how people care about a situation, because everyone in here obviously cares. And everyone in here probably is trying to find out about it and how we go about, again, stopping the bleed. That's not your business to define or forecast for somebody's life on wherever they are. That's not right and that's not fair. So that's the only reason why I had to come off the mic and say that. And that, yes, I'm still going to do my research like I always do. And I will put information out. And I'm going to do my due diligence to contact the Supreme Court and find out who's down in Louisiana that's behind it. Period. That's what I do.
All right, sister, I appreciate you as always. Black Majority, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, shout out to who was that? Volvo. That was a great idea. There is a woman in Georgia. It looks like she's running for Secretary of State. She's a write-in candidate, but she actually has a graphic of a U.S. reparations identification card. She's got some information on there at the bottom. It has a global serial number. So the idea you had, you share that, and I'm sure you may have had it before her, or whatever the case may be. But this is how information is moving into Black American political discussions. It's coming from a central source, and for me, it's God. God is the universe. Universe is God. So oftentimes we have similar ideas and similar thought, and then it's just a matter of us getting together to have conversations to build upon it. So when the guy Shepard was in the room, he talked about the Convention of States. And I looked back through my post. So that was something that we tried to highlight way back in May of this year. And then again in August, I think we had a whole space where we talked about that Convention of States and how dangerous it could be. And this should be another impetus and motivation for us to get control over states, because they have 20 states signed up. They need 34 to bring it to Congress, and they need 38 to actually pass it. And if we had control over 8 states, at the very least, we can provide a block. And we would have to obviously partner with some Democratic states, but obviously Democrat-ruled states would not want the Republicans to destroy the U.S. Constitution. So, again, we did highlight that issue because it is very, very, very important. Ms. Hilda, I don't know if she's still in the room, but she had a question, and I wanted to address that. And I think Shepard said us. And when we talk about us and them, and we use the term them and they, and we're talking about Republicans, and we use the term us, and for some of us, we're talking about the Democrat Party, I would hope that we kind of get away from that. I've been an independent voter my whole life. I've never thought in terms of us when talking about these white political parties. And this is long before I was ever political in any way, shape, or form. They own and control those parties. They are both they are both them. Unfortunately, there really is no us in the political arena as far as I'm concerned that represents us. All of the legislation that Black America has gotten in this country has come through the Republican Party. All of it. All of the amendments, all of the civil rights legislation, it was the Republican Party that led in those, in instituting the legislation. And this one, I just want to give the numbers on the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So, 1964 Civil Rights Act, you know how the Democrats always talk about the filibuster. They always, we need the filibuster to pass reparations. We got to get rid of the filibuster. Well, it was the Southern Democrats that used the filibuster 74 days to prevent us from getting the Civil Rights Act of 1964. They were in opposition to Black America. The Democrats in both houses of Congress, in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, 78% Democrats were no votes in the Senate. 74% of the no votes were Democrats in the House of Representatives. And this I'm gonna post this on my page, but the story essentially goes on to say that without Republican leadership, the Civil Rights Act would not have passed. So it's like we have this emotionalism, and then we have discernment, and we have to really practice discernment when we're thinking about going up against these white controlled political parties, and we really shouldn't be thinking of it as a us and we put ourselves in the Democrat Party, or us and we put ourselves in the Republican Party. It's really all of them against us. It's both parties against us. And so we got to really try to figure out ways to advance our legislation, advance our political agenda inside of both of these parties until we get control, and then we no longer need them at all. So I'll end with that.
All right. Thank you, brother. Let me go and get to Black Pressure. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. Black Pressure, you there? Black Pressure may be having an issue with his connection. He may be, I don't know if he may have went somewhere real quick. Let's go to Coops. Coops, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, family. I won't be long, and then I'm going to drop back down. And just wanted to send a nod over to my sister, Rella. I know she was asking for respect for the elders, and I'll go ahead and take that, being that I will be 60 next month. So, yeah, I appreciate that. I know my sister was thinking about me up here with some of the language and whatnot. I kind of got virgin ears. Nonetheless, we're talking about important business, and I just wanted to throw a couple of things in. Question came to mind since we're specifically speaking on Louisiana. How is this court case, and this is a rhetorical type question, but what happens with the Cajun and the Creole in this situation, as there are white Creole and black Creole? So when the politicians are talking about, defining black, we hadn't really talked about that part of it, because yes, I initially was speaking of descendants of American slaves, which they would be too, but I'm just, Louisiana is kind of different in its, politics, and that it was, French owned and Spanish owned and all that. So that might throw something in there. The other thing I wanted to bring up, even though my family is from the deep South, deep Georgia, southern Georgia, I myself am from California, and so I do come with a little different view. And one of the reasons, again, I'm not as concerned is because even with redistricting, I don't have a problem moving into a house in whatever they redline that district to be next to a white person. So they may think that they're isolating themselves, that they're drawing political lines, um, so that they can concentrate their votes, so on and so forth. But like I say, being from the West, even living in the North, we have integrated neighborhoods, we've integrated, areas, schools, this, that, and the other. So they may think that they're isolating themselves. It won't be for long. They're going to find out they're in a diverse neighborhood. And when we get this reverse migration going, you know, um, you're talking about people coming from Silicon Valley with Silicon Valley money to Mississippi, to Louisiana, to Alabama. You see what I'm saying? So it's all going to be mixed up. I'm from a place where no, young families are buying $700,000, $800,000 houses. So where is that going to put them in Louisiana? Which area? So these white folks, what they mean for evil, you know how that goes. They may mean it for evil, but God don't like ugly. So yes, we're going to continue this fight. We're definitely going to speak up. But this redistricting, we just going to move in those districts, and they won't be all white districts. They will be mixed districts, and we're still going to be demanding that we get our tangibles in exchange for our vote, and we will be running for those city council positions, those state legislative positions, and so forth. So just have faith, family, and I'm glad we're having this conversation where we can kind of concentrate our thoughts and strategize, and it's all good. And we're just going to keep that fight up. And I'll go ahead and land there. Peace. Thanks, host.
No problem. Cadillac, go ahead and unmute your mic.
How y'all doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Without Cadillac.
I'm good, man. Shout out to y'all for hosting this space. I'm from Louisiana. I've been living here all my life. I was born in Dallas, but I've been 3 years old. I live in Caddo Parish. It's a whole lot of bull crap going on here. Louisiana is majority white, but New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Shreveport are three major black cities that are democratic cities. But as y'all may know, Louisiana is a Republican state or red state, and it's simply because most of the white people live outside in the smaller cities and the rural areas of surrounding the cities, but they don't actually populate. They're not the majority of the population of these cities. So, um, in order for us to do what we need to do, the game that they play is we have these parishes, and they live, like I say, on the outskirts of the cities, but they still live in the parish. The parish is the same thing as counties to people who may not know what I'm talking about. Um, and so what they do is they come into the city every day, and then they go to work or whatever, but they leave back out and go on the outskirts. There's a lot of bull crap, man, going on here. You got a lot of black politicians, these major cities who literally are funded by the white supremacists or the white people who literally, go in and get them. They just carry their house niggas. They carry out the bidding of the white supremacists. So it's a lot of bull crap going here. I actually got a video. I think I got it on my page where they literally a room full of white men selected our mayor who's currently in office right now. So like, and you go and you speak to them and you tell them about these different policies, and advocate for the things that I advocate for, and they laugh in your face because they already got their agendas handed down by the masters. So my whole thing is why I came up with to say, I mean, I just want to ask, people who concerned about the situation, how long y'all gonna take to get down? Like, we ain't got forever to get this shit done. So like, at the end of the day, we just gotta start moving and get on this action. You know what I'm saying? And we can't just sit in the city. We gotta also sit in the parishes. You know what I'm saying? Sit in the parish because the city that I'm in right now, we over 50% black, but it's still, we got black mayor, police chief, black fire chief, all this stuff. But it's still
Hey, brother.
still folks. Go ahead.
Brother, just my own clarification because I don't understand. What's the difference between a city and a parish? Is a parish like a county?
Yeah, parish is the equivalent of a county, but the city sits in the parish, you know what I'm saying, or in the county. You feel me? So like I live in Shreveport City, but the city is in Caddo Parish, which Caddo Parish was some fucking Indians, black natives.
So, but I never even saw a black native top in prison. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, yeah. So, the parish or the county is way bigger than the city. So, like, I guess I said it about the rural areas, the smaller surrounding cities, but the major cities, they actually control all the politics. Or if they don't, they get their puppets to come in, black like us, and they come in and do their bidding. So that's why we still not get tangible down here with the stuff that's going on. I land right there.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I'm gonna let Ray and okay, Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. I tried to get you earlier, but I couldn't get you. But go ahead and unmute your mic.
No, I had put my hand down when they started going at each other, so I didn't want no parts of that. But the last brother that spoke brought up a great point. Like I say, always just saying this as a formality. The brother brought up the parishes and the counties and stuff like that. I'm sure you know this too, just as well as DJ and Ray. You gotta watch. Like, I'm in Houston, right? So Houston, as far as gerrymandering and manipulating taxes like that, they use those counties to manipulate that because, like, out here in Houston sits in two counties. You have Harris County, then you have going west, you got Fort Bend County. So what they'll do, you can literally be in Katy. So that's a little town in West Houston, right? You can be in Katy in Harris County. If your children cross I-10 or cross 610 to go to school, you have to pay the taxes, not where you live, but where your kids go to school at. They literally will count you. Like, if your kids go to school in Fort Bend County and you live in Harris County, they'll make you pay those taxes that are damn near double and count you as a resident to where your kids get education from. So I just want to drop that on y'all when I drop down.
All right, appreciate that, brother. That's crazy there. Let me go ahead and Ray and DJ, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to close it out. So I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and get a last word in. Ray.
DJ?
No, you already know, bro. We agree to agree.
Obviously, on topics like this, as y'all can see, I've been extremely quiet because I'm sitting back and learning. So, like I said, if I don't know anything, I'm just gonna be quiet. On topics I know, I'll jump in. Thank y'all for all that knowledge. I'm definitely gonna do a little research.
All righty, DJ, you got something to say, or you already pretty much said it?
Hey, man, you already know. It is what it is, man. But at the end of the day, we freemen. You know what I'm saying? The Negroes. Black is just another word for Negro. Negro is black, but I don't think these other immigrants or tetherbrooms should come over here even define themselves as black because they don't say they black in their own country. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying? From being around these people, they are Nigerian, Ethiopian, Haitian, Dominican, Jamaican, whatever it is. That's what they are. They from a place of origin. So if they gonna come over here and say they black, they better say they black Jamaican because I'm saying I'm black American. You feel what I'm saying? That's, nobody own the word black or white or any other color. Yeah, that's why I said in the context we use it means unknown, meaning where we come from. That's I'll leave it at that, bro. You know what I mean? But peace out, everybody. Reparations up, man.
Yeah, pressure insane. I'm about to go ahead and close the space out tonight because I got some stuff I need to take care of, fellas. So I will have to get with y'all on the next space. Because I got some things I need to go ahead and do before it gets a little bit too late. So let me go ahead and just say peace to everybody in the room and thank everybody for coming to the space tonight. I appreciate it. I apologize for starting later than we normally do. That may be happening a couple times this week because I have a lot of things that I'm taking care of in the back. So we may have a couple 9 o'clock schedules this weekend, and then we'll try to get back to everything on schedule next week. So you guys may see us. I'm gonna try to stick to 8 o'clock as much as possible, but that may be hard this week. So expect to see us a couple times, maybe possibly at 9 o'clock this week, guys. So appreciate everybody coming out to the space, to all of the speakers, the co-hosts, the listeners, everybody who tweeted out the space. Thank you for supporting News So, the largest curator of Black news, the largest Black-owned news curation platform today in America. We will be back tomorrow. It's either going to be 8 o'clock, guys, or 9 o'clock. I'm not sure, depending on the schedule, whatever. Everything is hectic right now, so we're going to try to get back to you guys as quick as we can. So everybody have a good night, and we will see you guys tomorrow. God bless.
Peace.
God bless. reparations up.